Hello everyone, welcome back. This is a new lecture in your course, Linux for Absolute Beginners by Avionics. My name is Ahmed, and in this section we are discussing Linux command line. In the previous lecture we have stopped at how to use the man pages in order to gain information about a command or a file or other parts of your Linux installation. And before we move on to how to navigate inside a man page, let's see how you can search the man pages for information. Let's say you want a command that deals with hashing, and hashing is something that is related to encryption and security. It's something that is largely related to how you encrypt files and how you ensure the integrity of files and so on. So perhaps you want to learn about a command or a function or a system call that deals with hashing. You can use the command called apropos like this, apropos like this, apropos, and follow it by not a command, not a file name, but just a word, any word. Let's say hash. Press enter and it will give you all the entries in the man pages that contained the word hash, either in the command itself or the entry itself or in the description of the commands. So as you can see here, I have an entry that is called hash in the third section of the man page. Let's say man3 hash. And again, this is a programmer's manual. This entry will be only of much sense to a programmer or somebody who is familiar with the C programming language. Okay, and here is the information. I can also have here another command that is not called hash, but it is related to hash, hcreate. This is the brief description. And also I have the password command because it uses hashing in its mechanism. And I can also use man in order to search the man pages, but I have to pass in -k as an option. So man -k followed by a word, just like apropos, it will do the same thing. So let's say I want to search for the word Python, which is a famous programming language. If I press enter, as you can see here, I have all the commands that contain the word Python, including Python itself as a command. This is the executable, and this is the description and interpreted interactive object-oriented programming language. Yes, that is Python. And also other commands and entries in the man page that contain the word Python in it. So let's say here, this is an interesting command that will convert Python 2 files or programs to Python 3. Okay, so that sounds interesting. It's called 2 to 3-2.7. Okay, so that is how you can search the man pages for information. Sometimes it is invaluable, especially if you forgot the spelling of a command or something. You can just search for a word in its description and it will give you the command as an entry here on the left. Now let's say we are inside the man page. How we can move in this file? You can move in various ways. First, you can use the arrow keys, and the arrow keys will let you move one line at a time. So I'm pressing here the down arrow key and I'm moving one line downwards at a time. If I press the up arrow key, I'm using one line to the top, one line at a time. Okay, if I want to move a whole screen, I can press either the space bar or the page down button. I can also press Ctrl F in order to give me the same functionality. We'll scroll one page forward, and if I want to move backward, I can either press page up or Ctrl B. Ctrl B will let me scroll up one page, and so will page up. Now what if I want to search for text inside the man page? And this is one of the most common uses of man pages. One of the most common things that are gonna do when you use the man pages is search. Because let's say, for example, I opened a script that was not written by me, and then I find the user or the developer that wrote the script using an option with ls that I have never used before. I don't know what this option does. So I will type man ls, and inside it, I will search for this option. Let's say, for example, sort. And immediately, all the words that are named sort have been highlighted. And in order to move from one search result to another, you press the N letter like this, N, until you find your destination. And here it is, minus sort equals word. And this is the description, sort by word instead of name. Okay, and you can read the description here in order to know more about this option. So using the / like this, followed by the text that you want to search for, like for example L, let's say -L, okay, and it has given you all the search results that contain -L. But if you want to search backwards, because the / will make you move forward, if you want to move backward, you can use the question mark followed by the query text, like for example -B, which will make you move backward until you find -B. And again, if you press N, it will move backward again and again until you find all the entries that you want containing -B. As you can see here, -B is for escape in the ls. And finally, if you want to quit the man page, just press Q and you will be back at the command prompt. Now, man pages, although they are very powerful and give you a lot of information and a lot of reference about the commands and the configuration files and other parts of your installation, they suffer some important drawbacks. They suffer the absence of hyperlinks. Now, as you can see here in ls, for example, maybe when you are navigating, you find that it is referencing another command that you want to have a look at. Let's say another example, like for example, password. Okay, and at the end, as you can see here, see also ch password with manual entry 5 and shadow and user mode. And these are other sections of the man page that you may be interested and you may want to have a look at. However, to do that, you will have to exit altogether the man page like this, and then, for example, type man 5, as we have previously mentioned, man 5 password. But man 5 password was mentioned inside the man page of password. Let's have a look here. See also password, and it's mentioning here the section number in the rounded brackets 5. But I have no way to access this manual page entry except by quitting and restarting the man page again with a different section. So a hyperlink here would have been handy in order to give me a fast jump to the location that I want inside the man page. Another important use of hyperlinks is that if you're reading a man page of a command that happens to be a very large document with lots of sections, having hyperlinks inside the man page will let you quickly jump to different sections of the same page. It's the same thing as when you are on a web page, for example, and this web page have like a table of contents, and when you click on one of those entries in the table of contents, you are immediately located at the start of the section that you have just clicked its name or its heading. This is missing from man pages, and that is mainly because man pages are as early as the earliest Unix release. They are very, very old, and they have been developed way before more and more advances have happened in the Unix and afterwards, of course, Linux. And because of this, the info pages have been introduced. The info pages aim at solving all the drawbacks that the man pages suffer from, namely the hyperlinks. So the info pages work as a tree, and this tree contains nodes. And those nodes have other nodes that are children of them, and so on. They have several levels of information, starting at the most brief, or the headings, and then the more detailed, then the more and more detailed, and so on. And of course, hyperlinks are present, and they use hyperlinks in order to link those levels with each other, and also they provide more information than the man pages does. So let's see, when you want to use the info pages, instead of typing man, you type info, like this, info, followed by the command or the file that you want to have a look at. Let's say, for example, ls. And as you can see here, it contains information about the ls commands, but it is not in one large document. It is divided upon several sections, as you can see here at the menu. Which files are listed, what information is listed, sorting the output. Let's see, sorting the output. And in order to go to the hyperlink, I will move to this hyperlink using the arrow keys, as you can see here. Using the arrow keys, I can move to the hyperlink and then press enter. Once I press enter, I am inside this section of the info page. It is, of course, it is more organized than man pages. In the man pages, you had everything in one large document, but here I can use the hyperlinks to move from one section of the document to another. So here is this specific section of the document that is explaining how to sort the output of the ls command. These are all the options that are relevant to sorting. And if I want to move back to the ls parent page, I will just press U for up, and it will bring me back to this page. I can also use the N command or the N key in order to move to the next hyperlink in the list. So let's have a look here. I was having those hyperlinks here. I was at the sorting the output section of the page. I press enter. And if I want to move to the next hyperlink, which is details about version sort and then general output information, all what I have to do is just press N. Instead of moving back to the parent page and pressing on the hyperlink, pressing N will just make me move forward in the list of hyperlinks available. And if I want to move back, I'll just press P, and P will let me move back in the hyperlinks list. So it's N and P. And if I have more hyperlinks, like for example this one, I press it. Now I am 2 levels under the main page. I'm 2 levels under the ls main page that brought me to, from which I moved to the first hyperlink and then the second hyperlink. I am deep now inside the node list. If I want to move back to the parent page which contains the general information about the ls command, I can press T. And because the ls is part of a large package called the GNU Core Utils, this is the parent page of ls. Okay, so ls is part of a package called GNU Core Utils, and this is the first page of the info pages describing those core utils. So T brought me back to this page. And if I want to exit the info pages, like in the main page, I'm gonna press just Q to get back to the terminal. So as you can see, the command line is not that hard. It can provide more powerful features than the normal GUI applications. And as we're gonna see later in this course, we can put several commands in one file and get this file executed all at once. This file is called a shell script. And of course, this can automate a lot of complex tasks that cannot be automated using GUI applications in most cases. And that brings us to the end of this section in Linux for Beginners by Avionics. My name is Ahmad. I hope you enjoyed this section, and see you next.